Hey, everybody, welcome to the Entrepreneur Motivation Podcast, the podcast for motivated entrepreneurs. Switched it up a little bit on you there. But this episode is called Raise the Thermostat. And I've heard this message spoken before by Ed Mylett. If you've seen his videos, he's got some good content. He interviews some amazing people. He's on YouTube and he's got a podcast, and I should get him on my podcast, quite frankly. But he talks about this, and he says how you will adjust to your environment. Just like a thermostat, if you open the window and it's cold outside, the thermostat will kick the heater on and it'll bring that temperature back to what it was at. And we all have a temperature in our lives, or almost like a governor on a car, where every time we want to go further, we want to raise our temperature, get to that next level, we kind of bring ourselves back down. That internal thermostat brings us back to that level that we're used to being at. And sometimes we're trying to get to that next level, but deep down we're like, I'm not ready for that. I'm not on that level. I need to play smaller. Like, this is where I'm safe. This is where I'm comfortable. And we start to self-sabotage a little bit and bring it back down. But whenever you get around people that are more successful than you, you raise the thermostat, because if you're at 75 degrees and everyone around you is at 100 degrees, you're going to be warmed up to that level because that's who you're surrounded by. Now, if you're normally at 75 degrees and you're stuck around people who are not motivated, they talk negatively, they don't believe in you or your goals, and they're maybe at 50 degrees, they're going to bring you down to their level. They're going to cool you down and they're going to slow you down. And that's not what you want. And that's why the quotes say, and I've got it on my vision board from Jim Rohn, you are the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. This is true. I mean, I had friends that I hung on to for a long time because they were my childhood friends, and we hung out and we skateboarded together and hung out and jumped on the trampoline together. But I've changed. I've kind of left a lot of them behind, no offense. And it's not that they're not motivated or they don't want to be rich or have a lot out of life. It's just that they don't have the same work ethics in some cases, and maybe there's not the same priorities as me. And I got kind of tired of going to hang out and they'd be smoking weed or whatever and watching TV. And I didn't want to do that. I wanted to go work out and meal prep and read books and stuff like that. And so there came that moment where I just started to make myself less available because I wanted to get in another room, right? I didn't want to be the biggest fish in the tank. I didn't want to be the smartest person in the room. I wanted to be the dumbest person in the room, the person who's lowest on the thermostat compared to everyone around me, so that I'm forced to level up, so that I'm forced to get in that bigger space. And so really evaluate where you are right now in your life. What is your temperature? Who are you surrounding yourself with? Do you have negative family members that are just constantly bugging you and telling you your dreams aren't worth it? Or do you have friends? Or are you in a relationship that's toxic where they just talk crap about your dreams and then, oh yeah, that'll never happen. You can't be around that, because those little comments, they do make a difference. Those are people that you care about, right? Their words have some sort of weight to you, even though they may not be always right. And so maybe that means spending a little less time around those people, kind of making yourself less available, sending them to voicemail when they try to call you, maybe taking a day or two to get back to their text when they try to invite you. I have people, it's funny, if you're in real estate or some kind of sales that involves clients and transactions and multiple people, you understand that your phone almost melts with the amount of phone calls, texts, emails, freaking messages you get a day. I miss corporate America in a way, because I had a business phone, barely use the dang thing. I just use it for the unlimited internet before I had unlimited internet on my personal phone, the unlimited data. I never used it for phone calls. I hardly ever used anything for phone calls. It was always emails. My corporate role, I wasn't in sales. I was in an analytical role, and I was able to just do emails and get away with it. Never had phone calls. The only people I ever called were my girlfriend, my mom, my dad, maybe a sibling, like very rarely, right? One of my brothers. Now I can't freaking escape it. I scroll through the phone sometimes with my girlfriend. I'm like, this is getting old. I'll scroll through a single day and I can show, like yesterday, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I'm still going. Oh, okay. Sorry. This is cheating, because I'm actually recording this video the day after my birthday. So of course I'm going to have a lot of calls, but I'm just going to say like 4 of those are for my birthday. The rest are for real estate. Let me look at the day before to make this more fair. So client, another client, 4, 5, 6. I'm already over 20 or 30 calls, and I don't take all my calls. I send a lot of them to voicemail. And here's a pro tip for you as well. And I know we're talking about raising the thermostat, and this is kind of a side note, but pro tip, and I showed this on my Instagram story the other day. I send stuff to voicemail. Like sometimes I'll watch my phone and I'll see someone that I know calling, even if it's a client. If I've already kind of dedicated too much time to whatever it is that they want, I've got other priorities. I've got other things I got to do. I send it to voicemail. I'll sometimes even turn my phone face down. No offense to my clients who I do this to. It's just I got to prioritize. I got to time block. Otherwise, I would never get anything done. And so I'll go to voicemail, and then my voicemail directs them like, hey, I'm either helping a client or not available right now. Please leave a message, or for a quicker response, you can send me a text. And it's so beautiful when I see 3 minutes ago, missed call, and then 1 minute ago, text message from the same number. They don't even leave a voicemail when they hear that. They hang up and they send me a text. And that allows me to answer it on my own time. And anyway, let's get back to raising the thermostat. I'm getting around hungry people, individuals that are killing it, that are making way more money than me. It's amazing. I mean, there's one real estate broker. I remember I went to his house. He invited me. He's got a backyard with a pool and like a jungle gym and all these things for his kids who are in gymnastics. And they're safe to say they're in a nice like $1 million plus house. Great area. They've got a lot of business. They do a lot of repeat business, referrals. Very humble. Like the couple, you wouldn't think that they're rich. You know, they drive regular cars, SUV, and like a Jeep or something. They've got true wealth where they don't need to show it. And one of the comments that this guy told me once when we met up, he's like, nice. Like he was kind of sizing me up and seeing like, what kind of person am I? I rolled up in my Honda Accord, and he's like, okay, nice, very humble, Japanese car. You know, you didn't spend any money on something you couldn't afford. You're not trying to be flashy. I like that about you. You're down to earth, and you got your head on your shoulders. You seem like a real smart guy who's got his priorities set. And that meant a lot to me because I'm like, okay, it's like The Millionaire Next Door for those who have read that book. You don't have to show it and act like you've got it to be truly wealthy or be at a level that others aspire to be at. I mean, if you run into, I've seen the picture of Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, where it's like billions of dollar net worth in one photo and not a single Gucci belt, right? They're wearing their jeans and their dad New Balance tennis shoes or whatever, and they're waiting in line for some burger joint place. And that's kind of how I like to be too. I realize I probably have to dress a little nicer and maybe get some suits or something for the $20 million listing eventually. But right now, a lot of my clients, I mean, it was great. I had a client who rolled up. I think he lived close to the house that he wanted to see, and he walked to meet me, and he showed up in like pajama pants and like a tank top. And of course, I'm not going to dress up all fancy because we're friends from high school and college, and I kind of wore what he wore. I wore t-shirt and shorts and tennis shoes. And so that's kind of how I want to be. I just want to be a regular down-to-earth person. And a lot of the successful, wealthy people that I know, they're like that too. They're not flashy. They're not bougie. They're not getting bottle service at the clubs. They are stacking their wealth. They're investing in real estate. They are practicing what they preach. And that is who I want to be around, where I'm raising my own thermostat. I know what I'm aspiring to become. I know that's the level that I want to be at, and that I don't have to really try to impress people to get there. I can be the person who is a millionaire and you would never know it because I'm dressed the same as you. I've got a nice little humble brag car and house. Of course, on my vision board, I've got a mansion in Denver or Colorado or something. I think I looked that up. And that is one of the things I'd like to have, those multiple dream homes. It's in my daily affirmations that I listened, that I recorded myself. I think I said something along the lines of, I live in a dream home, one of several. I want to have several dream homes, but I also want to be able to have a regular house. You know, my main home base. I don't want to be a target of, I don't want to have to be constantly worrying about getting robbed or people breaking in and trying to steal my stuff because I live in a millionaire mansion. I want to have that humble lifestyle where it's like, okay, I don't need 20 security guards and cameras and Rottweilers at the front door. Like, break in, take a laptop, you know, maybe the Xbox. That's about all you're going to get. All my wealth is in properties that I own, mutual funds and savings accounts and all those things and offshore accounts, all that cool stuff. That's where I want to be, where you can't even touch my wealth because you'd have to sell properties and you would need me to do that, right? I don't want to have money stashed away in stuff that you could steal or damage and provide headaches and all those things. But in any case, raise the thermostat, evaluate where you are, where are your friends at, if you're hanging on to friends and family that are bringing you down and they're not at that level you want to be at, trust me, I did that for some time. It becomes very draining. You can't solve all their problems, listening to their things and their complaints all the time, and you're trying to help them and they don't want to help themselves, and you can't want it more for someone than they want it for themselves. And that's why you've just got to raise the thermostat, get away from those bottom feeders that are draining your energy, your time, your money. Stop lending them money. They're not going to pay it back, right? I mean, I hate it. And as bad as it is, it's like you got to teach a man to fish so that they can eat for a lifetime. You can't just keep giving them fish. No free handouts, right? So raise the thermostat in your life. Make sure you are surrounding yourself with the right people, and remember that you are the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. So I hope this message resonates with you. Get out there, raise your thermostat, meet some heavy hitters, get around people that really motivate and inspire you, and go do that right now. Have a great day. Catch you on the next episode. See ya.